Stocks in the Asia-Pacific trade mixed ahead of the U.S. vote on raising the debt ceiling, while Wall Street was shut overnight on account of Memorial Day. The SGX Nifty is indicating a flat start for the Indian market. Oil edges up, climbing off session lows as consensus over the U.S. debt ceiling plays out against fears over interest rate hikes. Brent hovers around the $77 a mark. Apollo Hospitals likely to report margin contraction in the fourth quarter as spends rise, while Adani Ports too will report fourth quarter numbers today. Chennai Super Kings become IPL champions for the fifth time after Ravindra Jadeja steers them home in a rain-interrupted game with 10 needed of the last two balls. A visibly emotional MS Dhoni soothes fears over his retirement, says it would be the easy decision but wants to play another season as a gift to fans after all the support he has received in this season. Good morning. In the Mumbai News Center, I'm Sonal Bhutra. You're watching Power Breakfast. A lot to catch up on. We did not have any cues coming in from the U.S. markets. They are shut on account of the Memorial Day. But we have Asian rates coming in. So let's take a look at what the Asian markets are doing. Now, remember, U.S. futures are indicating some green on the screen. But for the Asian markets, it's largely mixed. We have the Hang Seng, which is up around 80 points. Taiwanese index absolutely flat with some negative bias. Currently, Kospi is high by 0.9%, but Nikkei is down in the red 0.4%. So a very mixed screen for the Asian markets after the stellar rally that we saw in yesterday's trading session. The SGX Nifty, that'll come up for you on the screen, and that one is indicating that the start for our own markets could be mildly in the green, 13 points higher there. But after the massive rally that we saw yesterday, let's see which way things go for our own markets today. As I said earlier, markets in the United States, they were shut for the Memorial Day holiday on Monday. Wall Street futures, they are largely trading higher after U.S. President Joe Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy reached a tentative deal to raise the nation's debt ceiling, averting a potential default. The House is expected to vote on the deal on Wednesday and then send the bill to the Senate. NBC's Drew Petrimore has more in this report.
After months of hand-wringing and deep fears of a catastrophic default, President Biden telling the nation he's struck a deal with the Republican Speaker of the House.
We've reached a bipartisan budget agreement that we're ready to move to the full Congress.
I think once people read the bill, they'll be pretty excited. But most important, it's America wins on this one.
The deal includes a 2-year debt limit extension while calling for spending on most items next year to remain roughly the same. It claws back $30 billion in unspent COVID funds and increases work requirements for some people on food stamps, a top priority for Republicans.
We did a conference call with our conference, and over 95% were overwhelmingly excited about what they see.
But there are no changes to Medicaid, some student debt relief, or climate change legislation, all priorities for Democrats and the president.
Will I get all of what I want? No. Will they get all of what they want? No. But I'm very pleased that we're in a good place.
But some of the most conservative Republicans are criticizing the deal, saying it doesn't go far enough to cut spending. Some liberal Democrats are also leery of concessions made by the president.
I'm not happy with some of the things I'm hearing about.
There's still hard work to be done on both sides to get the bill through Congress on a tight deadline. But on this Memorial Day, as the nation pauses to pay tribute to the country's fallen heroes, members of both parties noting the deal protects defense spending and programs for veterans. Drew Petrimore, NBC News, Washington.
Okay, that is about the updates in the U.S. markets. Moving on to the final update on our global market wrap this morning. Despite the relief rally seen in global markets on Monday, European markets ended the day lower with the French CAC down 15 points, the German DAX closing with a 31-point cut. The British FTSE was shut for a bank holiday on Monday. The Spanish markets closed lower on Monday after Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez unexpectedly announced the snap national election in July after his party and allies lost ground in Sunday's regional elections. Okay, that's the global market action. How will these overnight cues impact our own markets? We have our research team joining in to do just that. They'll tell us about the market setup, the stocks that are likely to be in the news, and all the action from the F&O space as well. Hey guys, a very good morning to all of you. Ekta, let me come across to you first up. What is the market setup looking like today?
Thanks for that. Well, yes, the markets did extend Friday's gains. The sensex and the Nifty were at 5-month highs. The Nifty Bank ended at a record closing high, which was led by stocks such as HDFC Bank, State Bank of India, IndusInd. Mid-cap index too posted what was a record close. We had the market breadth, which really favored the advances. So everything seems to be in place to get to those all-time highs for the Nifty, which is at 1,887.6, and the sensex all-time high as well. Now, one of the key support factors have been the FII's net buying and the DII's, in fact. So FII's net bought in yesterday's trading session as well, and FII's net bought for the 6th consecutive trading session. And remember, there was only one sell figure in between the trend that we've seen. DII's net bought around 853 odd crores, which was the 7th consecutive session of buying for the DII's. Now, the debt ceiling relief is going to aid sentiment because Biden plus the Republican lawmakers have reached that tentative deal on the debt ceiling. So there are no real surprises which are expected on that front. Remember, the ex-date is on the 5th of June. Now, the Fed is likely to come back into focus and is probably at the tail end of the hiking cycle in any case. So that is another factor to look at. US markets, yes, you mentioned they were closed. Asia is largely mixed at this point in time. SGX also just about a flattish to mildly positive start. A lot of earning reactions. Apollo Hospitals, Torrent Pharma, Prestige Estates, Graphite, Mankind. So a lot of earnings to watch out for in today's trading session. And on that note, it is the end of the trade earnings season as well. So you can expect a lot of mid-caps to be in focus today.
Oh, yes, towards the end of earnings season, right? Thank you, Ekta, for that. A lot of stocks that you spoke about. Let's take that forward and get in Surbhi, who's going to be speaking about the other stocks that'll be on our radar today. Surbhi.
Hi, so fag end of the earnings season and we have a lot of results coming in. Let's start with NHPC. The revenues were up 21%, the EBITDA was up nearly 73% and margins expanded to 44% versus 31%. RVNL, the revenue was down 11%, the EBITDA was down 8% and the margins were maintained at 6.5%. IRCTC, the revenue was down 40%, the EBITDA was up, IRCTC, the revenue was up 40%, the EBITDA was up 17% and margins came in at 33.5%. Campus Activewear, the revenue was down 1%, the EBITDA was down 28% and margins came in at 16%. Torrent Power, the revenue was up 61%, the EBITDA was up 10% and it reported a net profit of 450 crores versus a loss of 488 crores. And lastly, NBCC, the revenues were up 14% and the EBITDA was up 43%.
Okay, all right, Surbhi, thank you so much. A lot of stocks in focus today, but let's talk about the futures and option space as well. Nigel is joining in with all the cues. Nigel.
Morning, Sonal. Yesterday was a good trading session, though we came off the high point of the day. And the call we made yesterday morning was that, in fact, if you get the gap up, you take some money off the table. And the last stick was virtually at the low point of the day. In terms of the Nifty and the Nifty Bank, you didn't see any fresh long addition on the indices because both those indices ended higher. But open interest built up wasn't that large. On the Nifty, we ended high with a gain of close to around 100 points. But the India VIX as well creeped up. Remember, it's at record low levels. But normally, they have an inverse relation. Yesterday, both of them moved in the same side because maybe the IVs on both sides, that's the put as well as call side, are moving up. Sometimes that's a note of caution, but it was up only around 3% odd. But just taking note of that. What do the FIs do? They added more shorts than longs. They added close to around 5,000 short contracts. The short positioning is at around 40%, so they continue to remain net long on the index. On the options side, well, they bought more puts than calls. So they bought close to around 27,000 puts yesterday. But the problem is at higher levels, you like to see some supply because now they're writing more calls than puts. Even in yesterday's trading session, they wrote close to around 1 lakh call contracts. Now, the levels we're looking at in the options data, what is it indicating? It's indicating maybe we're in for a bout of consolidation. 18,600, call as well as put, both of them very active. It appears there's a short straddle at play. What is that? You write both those two strikes and you pocket the premium. You club both those, the premium together, it's around 160 rupees. So it gives you a broad range. 150 rupees minus 17,600, 17,600 plus around 150 rupees. And that range should come up for you on the screen at some point of time. The Nifty Financial Services Index, well, that's going to be the big cue today. Yesterday we saw some writing out there. Today is Tuesday, which is normally the weekly expiry that plays out. And there was writing being seen on a couple of strikes out there. So that's giving you the sense that you have some resistance on the Nifty Financial Services Index at around 19,625, 19,675. I'll tell you what, the last couple of series we've been highlighting that this is a bit of a supply zone and it's not yet got past that. So we'll have to keep an eye on that front. SGX Nifty suggesting some green to kickstart trade, but I think a bout of consolidation is what we're in for. Back to you.
Could be some consolidation. Thank you, Nigel, Surbhi and Ekta for joining us and prepping us up for this trading day ahead. Time for a short break now. When we return, Apollo Hospitals is expected to report its fourth quarter earnings today. We'll get you the key expectations on the other side, so stay tuned for that.
Yes, it's okay for us to nod for everything. Because we are Barretts. Yes, but your wealth manager? Shouldn't be doing that. You know?
Choose Nuvama. We only do what's right for you and your money. Nuvama. Let's do it right.
Samsung Solve for Tomorrow is a national education and innovation competition. This is your chance to make an impact for India. Don't miss the opportunity to win prizes. So join the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow today.
What if you could make analyzing a big bank's data no big deal?
Go on.
Well, what if you partner with IBM and Red Hat, use a hybrid cloud solution to connect data across multiple systems globally, then analyze all that data with Watson?
Okay, but this needs to meet our...
Security standards? Yep.
Compliance standards?
Mm-hmm.
So they get the insights they need.
Yep.
In real time.
Check.
To make quick decisions.
Check.
And check.
That's the hybrid cloud solution IBM and a global bank created. What will you create? IBM. Let's create.
You know, people often ask me why I left my steady job at the call center. I wanted more out of life. So, I launched my own startup. Do you want to know how? Then start up your own business as an LIC agent. You want it, we've got it. Great products, zero investment, leading organization, and unlimited opportunities. So are you ready? Now think big. Become an LIC agent.
Visit our website or contact your nearest LIC branch.
Welcome back. You're still watching Power Breakfast on CNBC TV 18. Let's talk about some of the important earnings now, which are expected today. Apollo Hospitals is due to report its fourth quarter results. Ekta's back with us to tell us what are we expecting this time around in quarter four. Ekta, tell us more.
Thanks for that. Well, Apollo Hospitals, a Nifty stock, it is one of the most expensive hospital stocks available today. The Q4 FY23 revenue is expected to grow around 20% on a year-on-year basis. But what we will probably see is margins being flattish on a Q-on-Q basis and going down on a year-on-year basis. Profit at around 193 odd crores. Expectations. One of the key things to watch for Apollo will be the performance of their omni-channel arm, which is Apollo Health Co. Remember that in Q3, the EBITDA was dragged down by what was one of the highest ever quarterly investments in Apollo 24/7, which is a part of Apollo Health Co. Margins came in at 11.9% in Q3 on account of those investments. So Apollo Health Co's net loss stood at around 63 odd crores in the previous quarter. 24/7 costs stood at around 202 crores. So what we will be watching for is improvement in those parameters, a couple of other milestones, whether the company is on track to deliver a GMV, which is for 1,600 crores. That is what was targeted in FY23. The company has also guided for a Health Co break-even by Q4 of FY24. So whether or not they are still intact in terms of guidance and fundraising for Apollo 24/7 as well. Now, in terms of the hospital business, margins, like I mentioned, would probably decline year on year. Occupancy is expected to be around 64 to 65 odd % flattish on a Q-on-Q basis. Pharmacy is probably expected to be aided by store addition. Watch for Apollo Diagnostics picking up as well as the retail health arm picking up.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Ekta. So that is what is expected from Apollo Hospitals today and important earnings that we are expecting. Moving on, the government has widened its crackdown against electric vehicle companies for violating subsidy norms. Sources tell us that after Hero Electric and Okinawa, notices have been sent to 4 more companies for allegedly not complying with localization criteria. Parikshit Luthra joins us with the details. Parikshit, which are the 4 companies that have received these notices?
Well, notices for recovery of subsidies and debarment from FAME have been sent to 4 additional companies after Hero Electric and Okinawa. This includes Greaves Cotton, Bendling, Ammo Mobility and Revolt. Sources tell us that the MHI has issued a notice for recovery of 124 crores in subsidy from Greaves Cotton, 48 crores from Bendling, 44 crores from Revolt and 80 lakhs from Ammo Mobility. The reason is both ICAT and ARI have submitted their reports, and these testing agencies have said there has been a violation of the phased manufacturing program, the localization content under the FAME scheme. And therefore, these companies will also be deregistered from FAME. As a first step, they have been show-caused and asked to reply within 6 to 7 days. The centre has already issued notices to Hero Electric and Okinawa. We believe these companies have replied, but have so far not paid back the subsidy which the government is asking. So, having said that, it's possible that the government may take some action against these companies in the days to come. But for the moment, the government is still mulling the next step. Greaves Cotton has sent out a statement regarding the action of the government. They're saying they're in touch with the government to understand the nature of allegations against them and how to take remedial measures.
Pariksha, thank you so much. So that is an important story as far as the electric vehicle segment is concerned. But moving on, in a bid to restart operations, cash-strapped Go First is taking all steps to retain its employees. Sources have told CNBC TV 18 that the airline has offered retention allowance for its pilots. Danish Anand is joining us with all those details. Danish, what are your sources telling you?
Well, the currently grounded airline Go First is taking all steps to retain its employees. Sources have informed CNBC TV 18 that the salary for the month of April for some of the employees has been credited. The ground staff and cabin crew have got their April salary credited. However, Go First is also trying hard to retain its first officers and captains by offering them a retention allowance. In an internal communication accessed by CNBC TV 18, first officers have been offered a retention allowance of Rs 50,000 along with a normal salary. Similarly, captains have also been offered a retention allowance of Rs 1 lakh along with a monthly salary. The airline is also expected to come out with a longevity bonus. The retention allowance will be applicable for all captains and first officers who are on payroll as on May 31st, 2023, and also to those that have resigned but are willing to withdraw their resignation by 15th of June. Just last week, DGCA had also asked Go First to submit a sustainable revival plan.
Thank you, Danish, for joining us with those important details. Moving on, Reliance Industries' own Jio Cinema has signed a multi-year deal with NBC Universal in a bid to increase Hollywood content on the platform for Indian viewers. NBC Universal's programming will start streaming next month on Jio Cinema Premium under the Peacock Hub branding. This deal will give subscribers access popular shows including Downton Abbey, Suits and The Office as well. Okay, with that, let's move on. Veteran banker KV Kamath sees a clear runway for growth in the infrastructure sector, led by solid health of banks and corporates. Speaking to Lata Venkatesh at the FICCI Summit, Kamath further said that every city in India presents the opportunity of rebuilding infrastructure as they demand more capacity in terms of roads and housing. Listen in.
Every city in India has to be rebuilt, so urban rejuvenation. And you see the amount of connectivity that is required, whether it is road, rail, ports. You drive on any road in India, or you just go on YouTube and watch people going around, every road is crowded, which means there is more capacity required, more lanes to be added, and so on and so forth. I would think in the infrastructure side, a 25-year horizon, I think, is a given. In other areas, it is going to be periodic growth.
Okay, all right. With that, we'll do one thing, slip into a break now, and when we come back, we'll get you all the cues from the commodities market, so stay tuned for that.
This car's electric for more reasons than just being woke.
Oh yeah.
And man, the money it saves you is no joke. It's got enough range to get you anywhere!
And it's the go-to park when you get there.
The all-new MG Comet EV, the no-nonsense car.
Because just like us, this car cuts the crap, man.
नई कार तुमने कार इंश्योरेंस खरीदा होगा एगो ऐप से नहीं
आपको नहीं तो
कोई बात नहीं मूर्ति गलतियां होती रहती हैं कोई जरूरत नहीं है चेक करने
नई कार खरीदने से पहले एको चेक करें और 36,000 तक बचाएं।
On the day that counts the most, CNN News 18 was the #1 news channel during counting hours and commanded the highest viewer attention throughout the day, trouncing the competition. CNN News 18, India's #1 English news channel.
Whenever I had ice cream or cold water, I would experience a sharp shooting sensation. So I just kept ignoring it. Even my hot chai was giving me the same amount of discomfort. My dentist recommended Sensodyne. So now I can be completely carefree and sip my hot cup of tea. It really works.
A road trip in a CNG car.
Where will all the luggage go?
OMG! It's CNG!
Big boot, big appeal, big reaction. OMG! It's the Altroz iCNG.
Welcome back. You're tuned into Power Breakfast, and it's time to talk all about commodities now. Manisha is joining us with all the update from the commodity markets. Hey, Manisha, good morning.
Hi, morning. And the U.S. debt ceiling deal going through, there is some support that's coming from commodities. Last week wasn't such a great one, but this week we definitely are on a stronger footing. So the copper prices have rebounded from a 6-month lows that we were trading into the previous week. We also are looking at inventories declining, and the street is watching out for further stimulus coming in from China. It's just about time on when it comes and how much it comes. It is coming for sure is what the street is working with, and that has been supportive. So you have copper prices gaining 1% overnight. Iron ore prices gained up 4.5% overnight. Crude oil prices initially did see some decline, but remember, yesterday the US and UK markets were shut, so the Asian markets have come back into buying. We are also looking forward to the June 4th OPEC and allies meeting, and then the street will watch out for the US Fed meeting that is on 13th to 14th of June. You also have US manufacturing data coming in tomorrow. It's going to be a data-heavy week, but even with the dollar index holding at 104, whether it's crude or metals, we are looking at a strong start to Asia today.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Manisha. So strong cues coming in from the commodity markets after tentative approval for U.S. debt ceiling. With that, we'll talk about some important national updates now. Union Home Minister Amit Shah landed in Manipur late Monday to take stock of fresh violence that has erupted in the northeastern state. He held a series of meetings with Chief Minister N. Biren Singh, his Council of Ministers and the Governor as well. The Home Minister is expected to stay in Manipur for 4 days, meet security officials and also visit some of the affected districts. Meanwhile, more clashes were reported from the state hours before his visit. 5 people, including a police personnel, have been killed in the violence. And from that, let's move on, because for the cricket enthusiasts, IPL 2023 came to a thrilling close as Chennai Super Kings got the better of Gujarat Titans in a last-ball thriller to clinch a record-equaling 5th IPL crown. Gujarat set Chennai a total of 215 runs to chase, but another spell of rain saw the target get revised to 171 runs in 15 overs. The match went down to the last 2 balls, and all-rounder Ravindra Jadeja stepped up to hit a 6 and a 4 with 10 needed, sealing a record 5th championship win for Chennai. And in some great news for the fans of Indian cricket, legendary skipper MS Dhoni, speaking at the post-match ceremony, allayed some fears over his retirement, saying it would be the easy decision, but that he owed to his fans a gift after all the love they had given him over the season. Okay, all right. Such a thrilling match that we saw late in the night, actually. But that's the end of IPL 2023 for now. And with that, we'll take your leave on this edition of Power Breakfast as well. Stay tuned. Bazaar Morning Call comes up next.